let's get started. I'm on it.
Player 1, start!
Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Metawella here. Hey, I'm supposed to say first Metawella. Oh, sorry about that. Anyways, hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here. And as I mentioned to you before, I'm Metawella here. And I'm Rarity here. And I'm Manaphy here. Welcome to you all for the next entry of the forms of the Super Monkey Ball Party Games Revisit, specifically on the Super Monkey Ball Deluxe game. So you remember yesterday that we did manage to able to play through Monkey Golf, in this case the forms of the mini golf portion. And today, everyone's favorite sports of ever, in this case if you're familiar with the forms of Wii Sports, if you ever played that before that, welcome to the forms of our revisit to the forms of Monkey Bowling, but this time it calls it Monkey Ball D or Monkey Bowling DX. So, and of course, as you can see right there, the environment we're going to be choosing is based off from Super Monkey Ball 1, just because, you know, revisits from the past years and stuff like that. But originally we were trying to able to go for the Super Monkey Ball 2 stage environment, but we might actually go for nostalgic memory. Well, at least in terms of memory lane or something like that, Rarity. So, as you expected, that I'm still II, and Metawella and Rarity are both going to be Mimi, and Manaphy, as you expected, that she is Baby. So, alright, sweet start for me. So, looks like Metawella did manage to claim herself her strike. So, yeah, despite the fact that this is actually the most popular sports of ever when it comes to, like, if you ever guys played Wii Sports incarnation of this kinds of stuff. But this might actually be one of the more popular videos back in during the likes of in 2013 if I managed to able to research on this kinds of stuff. Because, judged by the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that we reached, on that specific original video of Monkey Bowling, it actually did almost reach over by the forms of over 12,000 views, which is very impressive for the time. And especially noticeable with the forms of the likes and dislikes status. So far that we've got ourselves 14 likes and 3 dislikes. So it's almost pretty much even compared to the forms of the, you know, the unboxing video of Mario Luigi Paper Jam Brothers, and maybe possibilities of Mario Party 9 Step It Up video, but a little bit more lesser than that when it comes to likes or dislikes alike. But on the other hand, though, that as far as the most popular videos these days now is the fact that obviously first place so far it was still Monkey Bowling in Super Monkey Ball 1. But then, second place goes to, like, Let's Play Mario Party 9 Step It Up video, and third place position goes to Piglet's Big Game as the first part of the Let's Play, which is kind of strange if you ask me, but either way though, enough about that topic. But, on the other hand though, that's as far as we can able to go for this point, so, yeah. Anyways though. So today was actually forms of the 25th of November in 2018, so we've almost... Oh wow, that was a really bad, terrible throw at the very end. At least if I was hoping I could get a spare, but I accidentally just managed to able to get a bad angle to able to actually just adjust my throw. So, yeah, you get the idea with this particular solution. So, now there are quite a few things I want to mention about this actually. It's the fact that, I believe we did mention about the forms of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time has been out for 20 years now, which I don't know if we actually mentioned about that, but in addition to that, that's the original Powerpuff Girls. Oh, that really sucks for that throw. But at least you did miss, so I missed. Anyways though, but not in a German accent just yet. But anyway, yeah, the original Powerpuff Girls in the forms of a 1998 TV series has been out for 20 years or so. So, it's very impressive though, kind of think about it, even they did manage to able to still hold up even by the forms of 20 years later and standards and stuff like that. In addition with Scooby-Doo and the Zombie Island, or in this case Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, and I think as far as we can able to actually say about the forms of some of these cartoon media and stuff like that for the time being. But video games on the other hand though, well, still no luck of the forms of Nintendo Directs just yet in the forms of, you know, the second Direct in November. I'm pretty sure it might do the same thing for how it does it in Oh, I'm very impressed about you, Manaphy. That you managed to got yourselves your first strike. Yay, I've now finally got it.
Player 1.
So yeah, you get the idea, and the music in the background, if you couldn't tell already, that this is actually based off from Monkey Bowling 2, because, you know, of that little tone right there, rather than just go to like a jazzy vibe to it, even though that the entire environment is pretty much exactly the same, except the music is pretty much different between, you know, Super Monkey Ball 1 and Super Monkey Ball 2. Now, generally speaking, how the fact of the matter is, though, is that in Monkey Ball Jr. counterparts for the Game Boy Advance, even though they borrowed some of these minigames from Monkey Ball 1, except, well, there aren't any monkey races involved, or even no monkey target, and hell, even no monkey billiards. So instead, they actually get ourselves, well, there is a monkey door, which is basically a multiplayer race to the finish syndrome, kind of like how it did in competition mode in Monkey Ball 1, and especially noticeable for Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, for, you know, most likely trying to play through, like, you know, every single Super Monkey Ball 1 stages, except by the forms of Monkey Ball, or in this case Super Monkey Ball 2, or even the Deluxe stages, or even the original stages exclusively for Deluxe. So, but you get the idea. One thing I have to admit though right away, oh yay, I got my strike as well! So as you expected that the frames we're going to be doing through by the forms of how much turns that we've only got like 10 frames, so even then though that once again we have to share the controllers every time whenever we finish our turns. So yeah, there's something I just want to mention about this. There is no drop shadow in the forms of the Deluxe portion. Well, it does right here, but whenever you're trying to able to like start your positions correctly, it doesn't seem to have a drop shadow somewhere. I think it's most likely because of the limitations of the, you know, Deluxe portions or something like that. Now, as you can see on this little gameplay footage, as you can see right there, even though whenever you're trying to do a spin control, that usually just still says L and R. Well, at least if you ever played this on the original Xbox, sorry, I can't speak today for this point, folks. The original Xbox console, but since we still be playing this on the Xbox 360, so we have to like press the left trigger and the R trigger instead. Yeah, because, you know, we're going to be playing this on the 360, so because, you know, crisper quality, and especially noticeable with the widescreen support included, so you get the idea. And you can also use the right analog stick to able to change the view to see how the view itself looks like, but either way though, I rarely use that anyway, aside from that, you know, the actual environment you can able to actually have interact with itself, so. But yeah, out of all the other videos that, you know, we already established that before, that, you know, this is by far the most popular video by the forms of, you know, Super Monkey Ball Monkey Bowling portion, just because, well, obviously anyone else do like it, so, at least for some of it anyway. So, another thing is worth mentioning though, is the fact that, well, we've only got ourselves by the forms of, like, I would say, 12 more days to go until, you know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to be released on that specific day, so still I'm really looking forward to that. And I do apologize by the forms of, if you probably couldn't tell, I keep on sniffing most of the time, because I've recently caught a cold, so I highly suggest you girls manage to able to avoid me. Okay, we will do. Well, not any further distance, but just not right next to me, even though that good thing my girlfriend, Tiana, just managed to able to actually just, not get close to me or anything like that when it comes to, like, calling an illness and stuff. You mean, like, a talking frog? Yup, why? Just saying. So anyways, though, another thing is worth mentioning, though, is the fact that there are some more stuff that's been happening by the forms of Kingdom Hearts 3, besides the forms of the brand new trailer they've actually showed up. They've also managed to showcase off the forms of what the Deluxe Collector's Edition looks like. Like, for instance, they've got ourselves the forms of, like, the usual game itself. In fact, I actually do really like the forms of the disc artwork this time around though, because it might share exactly the same disc artwork as of how it does it by the forms of, like, almost exactly identical to the ones in Kingdom Hearts 2 PlayStation 2 disc, mainly by the forms of the original Kingdom Hearts 2 version, because in the forms of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix on the PlayStation 3 and especially PlayStation 4, they always shows up by the forms of like Sora was actually just doing some specific poses every time whenever you open up the case and stuff, whatever, depends on what compilation games you get. So anyways though, continue Sonic, for what you're trying to say about Kingdom Hearts 3. The Collector's Edition, as far as Deluxe Edition, as far as I'm concerned, some of these contents includes the Steelbook case, I'm assuming, and also most likely in forms of, in Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix on the PlayStation 3, and especially noticeable with the Deluxe version of, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Deluxe Edition. I think it still managed to claim ourselves the forms of the collective pin. And, yeah, because even though the only difference is this time around though, I just looked up on, they did manage to showcase off a different logo, which is expected Kingdom Hearts 3, and, a different Sora. So, yeah, to get the idea. I was still hoping that the forms of, in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, they managed to able to reveal Sora as a fighter, which it will be cool that, if that's been happening, then Cloud and Sora will have a one-on-one fight, just like how it does it back in the day, in forms of in Kingdom Hearts 1, and even especially noticeable in Kingdom Hearts Recoded, and even Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, if I remember that correctly. But maybe we'll find out whenever the DLC stuff is about to be happening until, next year. Alongside with the forms of the Piranha Plants, unless if you actually access the forms of the My Nintendo account, so able to actually just get Piranha Plant from the get-go. But anyway though, and spare for me! And it looks like we're almost at the halfway point of bowling immediately from the start, so as far as I'm aware for this point, folks, that's as not much else I can really say about the forms of the Deluxe set of Kingdom Hearts 3, if you manage to able to obtain the game with the Deluxe Collector's Editions or something like that. And one thing I should probably point things out right away is the fact that even though you never buddy forms about the fact that in Kingdom Hearts 3 we're still able to get ourselves 100 Acre Wood world returning in the forms of across the world, well, including by the forms of China. But on the other hand though, there's one thing in particular that China did manage to did done by one thing alone. Well, it still managed to able to get ourselves 100 Acre Wood world after all. But in the forms of it across the world, aside from China, for whatever reason, China managed to able to, or the Chinese version of Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be centered Winnie the Pooh. I think the reason being for that is because of the country law. Yeah, aside from Rabbit and in forms of Piglet, and even Lumpy from, Pooh's Heffalump movie, and heck, even especially noticeable with the forms of Roo and probably Tigger as well. But Winnie the Pooh though, he's pretty much censored in the forms if in the Chinese version. So, what they do instead is the fact that they're trying to cover him up with the forms of somewhat of a bright white imagery, or the actual bright white blur effect, or anything like that. Whilst in the forms of the Japanese version, and heck, even the forms of the international version, like the English and France or Spanish, still, Winnie the Pooh really did show up in the forms of every single languages except Chinese versions, just because, country law in China. So, yeah, I think it only happens during the likes of a couple of months ago, of how this usually managed to change up a little bit. So, I think we get the idea with this solution there, Rarity, after the forms of, several announcements and stuff like that, of how things change, things differ between, multitude of regions, and you name the rest. And another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that the game called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee on the Nintendo Switch, apparently those two games, well, usually the exact same game but with a different versions because, much like in the mainstream Pokemon titles, every time you're able to actually start up either those two versions, they managed to able to get ourselves a different lineup of Pokemon that depends on what version you'll be getting. Basically, those two games combined into one did manage to able to sell very well in the forms of about a week later, because I believe they did manage to sell for about 3 million units by the forms of 1 week. in this case, one of the fastest selling games for the Nintendo Switch at the moment. So, I wonder if it's gonna catch up to the forms of Super Mario Odyssey, but we don't know exactly for sure about that, just because, you know, at the moment right now, Super Mario Odyssey is definitely the best-selling games on that particular Nintendo Switch system right now. Alongside with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, obviously for this factor, but either way though, that's not much else you can really tell about that fact.
Player 1.
And another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that in the forms of the brand new trailers and stuff, but in forms of not only but in forms of some movies from the forms of 2019, like for instance by the forms of you know, Toy Story 4, and especially notable with Dumbo remake, and especially notable with Aladdin teaser trailer, which I'm really looking forward to those two. However though, there's one film that we did manage to able to see a teaser trailer for that as well, and that will have to be the remake of The Lion King. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that specific remake, because as far as I'm aware, the director of that particular remake is going to be exactly the same style of how it does it in the remake of The Jungle Book, like the forms of the actual... Oh, that really stunk for that shot. Well, you missed again. Anyway though, let's see if I can get those pins in. So, anyways, enough about that. Or actually, before we get to the forms of the films we're gonna talk about, yeah, let's get into the forms of the main gameplay of Monkey Bowling DX or Deluxe, whatever to be more precise. Again, if you ever played bowling before in reality, including by the forms of Wii Sports counterparts, well, it wasn't until when, well, you know, this game came out in 2005, and then before 2006, they revealed Wii Sports, a launch title for the Nintendo Wii, expecting how the fact that there are 10 pins to knockouts, and then, you know, you get the idea. If you manage to able to knock down 10 pins all in one shot, you get yourselves a strike. But if you manage to able to knock out all of the pins on the second throw, then you would able to actually get yourselves a spare. So, and vice versa for the most part. However though, there's one thing in particular that you probably realize how the fact that Manaphy's aiming shot is actually a lot slower compared to the forms of a medium speed compared to our characters. That's because of how the fact that depends on what characters you'll be using, but the forms of Ai, Mimi, Gon, and even Baby. All four of these characters have their different attributes. Like, for instance, Ai is essentially a all-around character, or in this case, an all-around status. Like, you know, medium speed, aiming skills, and especially notable with a pretty good speed. Or in this case, a pretty good spin, I should say. And basically, he's just basically a run in the middle. And I would say the same thing for Mimi as well. Like, pretty much the same thing for Ai, except, well, obviously it's a female counterpart of Ai. And Baby, on the other hand, though, he actually did have herself a pretty slow aiming. So even then, though, this makes getting for strikes is actually a lot more easier compared to the other three characters. But she doesn't do very well in spin though. But either way though, I think safe to say that oh wow, Metal Weather, you actually got pretty damn lucky right there. Yeah, as far as for my bowling tactics and skills and whatnot, I'm certainly roll. Anyway though, so now it's on to you, Rarity. But again, you have to forgive me by the forms of that really rough cold nose for this point today. But either way though, it's just only for one time. Oh, so close to able to get ourselves a strike in the end. Oh well, no big deal. Alright, so it looks like we've actually gone into the forms of frame 8, I just realized, and we've only got ourselves like 3 more flames. I really can't speak today for this point, folks, because I keep on saying flame because I keep on thinking of the Pokemon special moves and stuff, but in the forms of frames, that's what I meant to say. Jeez, you never seem to able to actually learn about alphabetical pronunciations, Metal Weather, sometimes. Shush, Rarity, I can do whatever I want. I mean, that's what, well, anyone else says so. Oh, so close to able to get a strike on that specific frame, but I'll take 9 as it is. Seems like Manaphy. I believe Manaphy is going to be in the lead right now, because compared to the forms of how it does it in yesterday, in the forms of in Monkey Golf, that so far that Rarity did manage to win that specific minigame. So I wonder who could have won on this particular minigame. Well, spoiler alert, it would definitely be Manaphy, just because, well, she's actually doing very well when it comes to monkey bowling in general. Which, you know, because it takes a lot of practice, and once you get used to it, then she pretty much dominates it for the most part. Even especially noticeable with, you know, obtaining certain strikes. Yeah, which I gotta hand it to you there, Rarity. Even by the forms of your daughter of yours, even Piglet's daughter as a result of that too, then, you know, you get the idea. So yeah, as another thing is one important pointing out right away, is that, one thing I need to know something right from the start though, one thing I forgot to mention about this ever since in yesterday's video of the forms of the Super Monkey Ball Deluxe minigames revisit or something like that, every time you finish your goal or something like that, or especially noticeable when some things will happen, every single time the music starts to able to actually start all over again. Like for instance that if you finish one go in the forms of in bowling for instance, that the minigame or the music itself is going to go all the way back to the beginning. I mean, that didn't happen in the forms of the original Super Monkey Ball 2 ironically, or heck even especially noticeable with you know, Super Monkey Ball 1, but it's just one of those rare occasions that it tends to bug me sometimes. But, hey, on the plus side though, the smooth frame rate, and even especially noticeable with the best graphical fidelity, that just makes the Xbox version a superior version, compared to the forms of the PlayStation 2 version. Well, nothing problem with the PlayStation 2 version about it still, other than the fact that with the forms of a very low textures, or even a low resolution, and heck, even especially noticeable with the forms of a kind of a awkward controls, that's what I meant to say for this, right? And also by the forms of a really annoying load times and stuff, but it's not nearly as worse as, you know, Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Oh god. But when we get into that game, oh jeez, that was a total major missed opportunity. And I do apologize for that belching, just because I always eat chili dogs, as you expected. And would you look at that? It looks like Menifee got a strike as well. Yay! I've now become a ruler of bowling after all. Let's see if I can get mine in, even by the forms of the actual strikes themselves. So it looks like we actually reached to the 10th and final frame for this point, folks. Oh, come on. Yeah! Alright, sweet victory. Even though not sweet victory just yet for me, because I'm still a little bit behind, but either way though, hopefully I can catch things up. Well, I'm probably not going to get first place though, but at least I might take second place, unlike any forms of how it does in Monkey Golf, that I was doing very rushed out and pretty terrible at the same time. Oh, doubles! I'll definitely take doubles. Thank you very much, game. Thank you absolutely much. Well, I must be very impressed about you as well for that, Sonic. Yeah, thank you, Motorola. I'd appreciate it with that stuff. One thing I should probably notice something is that the outside portion of the UK at the moment right now when it comes to weather forecast, shoot. That, you know, it's really freezing cold outside. Well, that's only because we're getting close to winter, so expecting there won't be any hot sunny weathers for the time being up until spring or summer, then, well, it takes a lot of time. And we don't know exactly for sure what we're going to be doing for next year's August, especially by the forms of like next couple of Let's Plays marathon or something like that. Well, we're hoping if we might actually do the Mega Man X games after all, but I think we haven't exactly done with classic Mega Man games just yet, because after all, next month that Mega Man might actually go ahead and tackle for himself by the forms of, you know, Mega Man 11 until next month, and especially noticeable when it gets to next year, we're definitely going to do the Mega Man handheld games. So, and there goes Meduella's strike on the forms of the final go for her, but I'm guessing she's not going to catch up, so yeah, I'm in 4th place, so that's a bit puny. Well, mind you, because you always keep on missing most of these pins and shots, especially ever since in frame 9. Yeah, I know that, but either way though, I might as well take it. And you were so close to able to get a strike there, Rarity. Yeah, I probably wish I could, but I couldn't even beat Sonic yet. Well, at least you were able to find out in just a moment. Well, at least in terms of the actual different results altogether. Yay, I've got a spear! Which, yes, if you're in frame number 10, that if you get a spear on your second throw, then it'll be your definition of your 3rd and final go. But if you don't get any of these, then you obviously get 2 turns. But if you get a strike into your first throw, then you would able to get yourselves 2 ghosts. So yeah, that makes it all of a system as far as that will go. Oh, what are you trying to be sloppy there for, Mimi? You're supposed to celebrate, because either way, that not only do we get ourselves the forms of 8 pins, but look at our scorecard. Oh crap, I realized that me and Rarity are actually tied. Jeez, we tied for 2nd place. Whilst the forms of Metalwella, on the other hand though, she's pretty much in dead 4th. Yeah, I must admit it though right away, but either way, I did that pretty decently enough. And now it's my go for my last throw, and hopefully I'm as well able to get those last 2 pins in. And come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. I never get ourselves the 3rd and final throw. Hey, that's a bit of a misunderstanding. So the winner of Monkey Bowling DX is definitely going to be Manaphy, whilst me and Rarity are in 2nd place, and 4th place is Metalwella. So, and it seems more accurately that I'm assuming Manaphy did manage to beat Defi's original score in the forms of back in Super Monkey Ball 1 Monkey Bowling portion, because I'm pretty sure that Defi managed to got himself 165 pins down. So, yeah, I guess congratulations for Manaphy then. So, and again, I do apologize by the forms of the frame rate right there. And also, much like in the forms of the original Super Monkey Ball 1 counterparts of this reward ceremony system, the fireworks still managed to able to exist in that time. So, yeah, you get the idea with the Monkey Bowling minigame, that's for sure. So, with that being said, we've only got 1 more minigame to deal with right there, where it comes to able to actually revisiting those party games again, but this time, you know, in a crisper HD quality, and especially noticeable with the better commentary, and you know the rest. But of course, we do have to deal the exact same name entry screen every time whenever we finish up the main party game match. Which either way though, it's not too bad, but whenever you're trying to able to actually just to be faster enough, well, usually for the sake of like trying to able to rush things up by the forms that let the video end, well, I'm pretty sure that it might not seem the case. As far as I'm aware, it's the fact that the actual environment with the forms of the name entry capsule machine is actually good. It takes place in the forms of, well, generally speaking, amusement park. Because, you know, you can see the forms of the town squares, and especially noticeable in some roller coasters and stuff like that. Because usually I've known Super Monkey Ball for quite a long time, even by the forms of like a decade ago. Well, I won't say a decade ago, but either way though, there was roughly about 15 years. Well, I would say 15 years. So, but anyways though, so let's see how we actually retaliate by the forms of the actual ranking system. So, expecting that Manaphy, she's definitely in the top list. So, yeah, I really appreciate it for my skills there, don't you think, for this point, guys? Yeah, I must be very impressed about your skills, even by the forms of your first time you're ever going to be, you know, experiencing video games in general. So, anyways though, so that's about it by the forms of, you know, Monkey Bowling DX, and I hope you guys do enjoyed it. So this is me, Sonic the Hedgehog, Rarity, Manaphy, and Metalwella. So, hope you enjoyed this video for this point, folks. Expecting we might actually get even more views from that. We're not exactly sure. But either way, though, that join us tomorrow by the forms of the final game of the entirety of the revisiting of these trilogies department when it comes to mini games is Monkey Target DX. So I hope you guys do enjoy for that. Coming up tomorrow, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.